Hi, it's Kathy doing SEO for therapists again, and I'm just going to go into a few more things that are relevant to your SEO. So page speed. What's page speed? That's the speed in which your page loads in most people's browsers. So Google is now, and they've said that they're doing this, it's not just one of their little secrets, is that the speed in which a website loads is a factor for SEO. And here you can do it from the slides. There's some places to test your page speed, like GTmetrix and Pingdom page speed. Okay. What I pay the highest level of attention to is the total load time. When you do those tests, it's going to give you a whole lot of information that you're probably not going to understand, but you really want your page to load in less than 3 seconds. And there's lots of ways to improve page speed. If you have a WordPress site, other platforms, it can be a little bit more complicated, but you definitely want to look at your image sizes. Because if you load a big image, if you upload a big picture, that's a big file, it can slow down your whole website loading. So Pingdom, you can see I did a little thing on one of my websites there, and even though my performance grade wasn't awesome, this load time was under 2 seconds, which I was pleased with. And they give you lots of suggestions, and your ability to make the changes really depends on your platform. But in the slides, there's some links to looking at page speed in a few of the most common website builders. How are you fixing these issues? Again, it depends on the website. If you're using WordPress, there's some plugins such as WordPress Optimize or WordPress Performance Score Booster. A cache plugin is very important for a WordPress site because basically then it's going to load the most recent page visited. So it just speeds up the load time in general. And then, of course, optimizing your images. Mobile friendliness is another one. Hopefully this is an issue for most websites right now, but you definitely need your website to be mobile friendly or mobile responsive. And again, since it's, I don't know why the date's wrong in this slide, but it's a big ranking factor for Google. And you just Google, checking your page speed, and you test it out, and it'll say yes or no, it's friendly. Link building, Google views links to your content as a way to measure the value of your content. If more people are linking to it, it means it's more valuable. It's really hard for us to do this, but you can do internal links on your site, links for some listing sites. Psychology Today actually doesn't help your SEO. They block that link. If you write a blog and link to it with another post, it can be effective. Guest blogging sometimes can be effective. Infographic, and putting your content on social media. That's the main way you're going to really get links. Never pay for links or exchange links with another person. And by that, I mean, don't say to your friend Jane, the therapist, I'll put a link to your website on my site if you do the same for me. Google just does not like that. A sitemap is something besides the behind the scenes, and Wix, Weebly, and Squarespace sites all have them automatically. And WordPress sites need a plugin, but if you're using your Yoast plugin, which you should totally be using, it does that for you. Videos on websites, they're excellent for both for SEO and for marketing purposes. Record it, upload it to YouTube, and then embed the link on your website. SSL certificate. It stands for Secure Sockets Layer. I have no idea what that means, but it's something that makes things a little bit more secure. And even though we're not necessarily doing things that need secure information, this is something Google looks for. So definitely get it done, and make sure that you have one on whatever your website. So a Squarespace, you get one automatically. You may do it with your if you're using WordPress, you're going to do it with your hosting service, and then maybe use a website like Real Simple SSL. And with Weebly, it looks like right now, as of when I'm doing this, you need a business package, okay? And with Wix, you have to manually activate it. So when you look at a website and you see the little lock symbol to the left up by the URL, that means there's an SSL certificate. So if you don't have one, that's something you need to take care of. So summary of some best practices for SEO, write great content. Your website is all about connecting with your ideal client, so it doesn't matter if you have the best SEO in the world. If clients don't engage with your website, it's sort of useless. Have a great user experience, easy navigation, readable sites, headings, bullets where appropriate, and providing good information. Using your keywords effectively, don't overdo it, switching up keywords. I have a whole other video in this course just about keywords. SEO no-nos, don't stuff keywords. And I mean using the word too many times on a page. Readability is also important to Google. And so they look for that. And you'll see this sometimes with like older websites that have a whole list of words at the bottom of the page. It's ugly, it doesn't look good, and it doesn't help your SEO. So don't do it. Making sure you use different keywords for each page on your website. If you're using location keywords, you can change it up and use zip code, use therapy instead of counseling, but the page titles need to be different in particular for each page. Don't buy or exchange links. I kind of talked about that before. Just don't do it. Other things you can do to improve your SEO. A Google My Business page is great, and there's a link here, and I do another quick video about that in this course. And you'll see here, it shows up differently. Sometimes they show up a little further down, but you'll see the map, and then these listings here to the left are all Google My Business listings. Anymore, it seems like they're below the paid advertisements, but they're still top of the page. If you have reviews in Google My Business, they can improve your results, and they don't seem to weed out any colleague reviews. Yelp's a loaded topic for a lot of reasons, but for SEO purposes, it is helpful. You decide whether you're going to do it or not. Recognize that any client or a person can do a page for you. You don't have control over that, which is a little awkward. And if you're concerned about reviews and confidentiality, I encourage you to look at Keely Combs's Yelp page. She has a disclaimer, which she allows anybody to use. So you can post it and say, encourage people not to leave reviews there because of confidentiality. And certainly if you have a Yelp page, don't ever encourage people to leave you reviews. Don't encourage client or former clients. Colleagues are okay. Social media. Google looks at social media accounts as one of their ways of deciding whether a business is reputable. It allows you to share your blog content. They can show up themselves in search engines and search results. And I've even heard of therapists getting clients from social media. I generally recommend finding one platform you can be consistent with and sticking to it. What works for me doesn't work for you, but pretty much any social media, including TikTok now, is used for advertisement. How are you measuring success? You can use a free tool like SERPFox to monitor how your keywords are doing and performing. What you want to know about your website is how people are finding it, which pages do they visit, have they been there before, how long are they staying, and the bounce rate, which is how many people leave after seeing one page. I don't think that's as important for us because I think we have our most important information on our website on our homepage for a reason, so that if people do bounce off, they can still be engaged. Google Analytics can give you all of that information, and if you want, you can even I have an app on my iPad, so I could check on it anytime, and you'll have to link the Google Analytics code to your website. And here's some links in the slides on how to do that for each of the main platforms. And you'll see here, this gives you a whole lot of information, how many visits, whatever they have as far as demographics, what time, how did they get to your website, just tons of information. We all know Google likes to get lots of information. People say this helps SEO, the webmaster tools. I think it's rather sophisticated and probably not something your basic therapists should probably do. I have an account, but I don't actually even actively use it. But this gives you, shows you a little bit more about that, and there's things that you could do on there. And here's some additional resources for SEO on different platforms, and you can get those links out of the slides. And that's it for this part of the class. Again, hope you find it helpful, and thanks so much for listening.